Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which a young IT apprentice is upgrading a nursing home fire alarm system, steps into the canteen for a quick bite, and suddenly finds himself gently kidnapped by a confused resident who's sure it's chauffeur time. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I tried to help a lost dementia patient and completely failed. Grandma had it handled. I'm currently in my apprenticeship as an IT expert in a company that builds anything regarding networks. Telephone systems, safety cameras, data centers, window domains, firewalls, nurse call, you call it, we make it. Most of our customers are medical facilities of some sort, mainly rest homes for old people, and during my apprenticeship, I'm supposed to work with the other departments of our company to get a feeling for what we do. That time, I was working in a rest home for old people, replacing their out-of-date fire alarm system. Most of the time when we do work like this, the places aren't closed, so we naturally come into contact with the nurses or their residents. This time, the nurses and other staff of the place were extremely friendly to us. They offered us a room in the basement to store our stuff, another room with couches and furnished like your old people living room for breaks, and even allowed us to get to their canteen to get food for free at lunchtime. We got the same food the residents got and usually took our meals to the living room that was provided to us. One day, as I was standing in line to get my food, one of the residents approached me with an expression somewhere between, "Please help me," and "Where am I?" I have some experience with dementia and Alzheimer's and could tell that the guy had something in that spectrum just from the look he gave me. As he came into reach, he grabbed my arm with a strength you'd not expect from a man of his age and began to hastily tell me to bring him to his car. He kept going, saying that he was told to eat his meal before someone picks him up and get him home. For a moment, I was just as confused as he was, given I was clearly wearing my work pants and even the jacket with the name of our company. Then I remembered some stories my sister told me, who's coincidentally working as a nurse for dementia patients. I kept calm and put my plate away, turning to the old man, and made my biggest mistake of that day. I tried to explain to him that I'm just a technician and that he should get one of the nurses. Of course, he was too far away to understand what I'm saying and kept asking me about the car that's supposed to get him and that I should bring him there. We kept going back and forth like this for a moment until another resident, an old lady with all her mental capacity intact, approached us and handled the situation much better than I did. She began asking him about the meal he mentioned, taking his hand and leading him back to where he came from. I didn't see how their situation ended, but from how she managed him, I guess it was much better than my experience. The easiest thing to do with someone not in touch with reality is to confirm what they're saying and use that as a jumping off point to gently guide them where they need to go. And our second story. Landlord wanted to do it by the book. I live in a very tenant-friendly area with strong rent control laws. Landlords can't demand security deposits, enter without proper notice, or ban pets. Leases automatically renew month to month after a fixed term ends. For the past 11 years, my husband and I had a good relationship with our landlord, Joe. We were forgiving about his slow maintenance, and he was kind when we fell behind on rent during hard times. We've since paid ahead, but the list of needed repairs kept growing. We didn't push the issue. Joe left us alone, and overall, he'd been kind. A few years back, he let us store stuff in a dilapidated shed on the property. We kept old outdoor items there, nothing valuable. Then a few months ago, Joe asked us to clear it out. Apparently, a neighboring tenant had a mouse problem, and he claimed the shed was an eyesore. I told him we'd get to it when we could. My husband had just had surgery, and with a baby at home, it wasn't my top priority. That's when Joe got passive-aggressive, texting, "Just a reminder, tomorrow's garbage day. We all need to keep things nice around here." I replied, asking would he plan to remove his own junk, like the scrap truck, open compost piles, and piles of concrete and rebar near the shed. Also, when would he finally fix the plumbing and roof? Joe didn't like that. The next day, he showed up unannounced, barged in, and yelled at us in front of our kids. He ranted about his finances, blamed inflation and property taxes, swore at us about our crap, and threatened to evict us since clearly you don't like living here. We told him to leave and that we'd only communicate in writing going forward. His response, "Fine, we'll do it all by the book." The next day, we found an eviction notice in our mailbox citing excessive garbage and waste in outbuildings and claiming we'd refuse to discuss corrective action. He also mentioned how unreasonable it was since he didn't evict us when we were behind on rent back in 2016. We had 7 days to fix it or he'd start eviction proceedings. Fine. I cleared out the shed except for the walnuts and squirrel droppings. Meanwhile, my husband contacted law enforcement and the Provincial Rental Housing Authority. Within a week, inspectors showed up. Joe was ordered to repair the roof, plumbing, and weeping tile within 90 days. The shed must be either demolished and replaced or we receive a rent reduction since it was considered an amenity. Turns out the neighbors had also complained. Joe had illegally filled in a pond without permits, removing the fire department's only nearby water source. Now the province is involved, and bylaw enforcement threatened him with daily fines for the massive pile of broken concrete and rebar he refuses to remove. Then yesterday, Joe texted saying he and a plumber would be there within an hour. Normally, we're flexible, but not anymore. I reminded him that he must provide 24-hour written notice. He showed up anyway and sat outside for 4 hours waiting for police after claiming I was hostile and he didn't feel safe. The police never even showed up. An officer called instead, told me Joe had been advised to stop harassing us and confirmed he needed to give proper notice before coming by. The officer even asked if I'd like them to attend tomorrow to keep the peace if Joe tries again. If Joe doesn't complete the required repairs, we're prepared to take him to court for a rent reduction and request a lien on the property to prevent him from selling without meeting his obligations. We're just doing it by the book now, just like he wanted. And of course, we'll make sure it looks nice while we're at it. Damn. Some people just have to F around and find out for themselves. Good for you, working it out in your favor. Screw that guy. And our next story. You're hiding it from me. As anyone who ever worked in UK retail up until a few years ago knows, the most exhausting yet often fun times to work used to be the last few hours before closing for a long bank holiday weekend. Most shops didn't open on Sundays and also stayed closed on the bank holiday. This sent many customers into panic buying mode, with people stuffing their trolleys with half a dozen loaves of bread, 6 pints of milk, enough fruit and veg to keep Carmen Miranda in hats for a year, etc. As a result, by closing time, there were usually many items sold out. One particular Saturday, about 10 minutes before closing, a furious gent barreled up to me, steaming like the Flying Scotsman. FG, where's the soda water gone? Me, sorry sir, but it's sold out. You may be able to get some at FG. Don't give me that. It's impossible to sell out of soda water. No one ever sells out of soda water. Me, I'm very sorry sir, but we sold out about an hour ago. FG, balls. Get some more from out back. Me. There isn't any in the warehouse, sir. If there was, we'd have put it on the shelf. You might be able to get some down the road at FG. Rubbish! You're just hiding it out back so you don't run out. Me. We have run out, sir. That's why there's none on the shelf. FG. You're hoarding it. You're hoarding soda water so you don't run out. Me. That would defeat the object of us being a shop, sir. If we hid items from customers, we couldn't sell it and we wouldn't make any money. FG. You just don't want to run out, so you lie about not having stock. This is unbelievable. He grabbed a bottle of tonic water, there were a few of those left, from the shelf and stomped off to the tills where, so I was told afterwards, he ran it at the poor checkout girl, treating her to his misguided theories on the basics of retail. I'd like to say that when we closed, all the staff went to the warehouse and cracked open a case of tonic water to toast our success in not running out of the fizzy liquid, but the cupboard was bare. Customers always seem to think that the stockroom's some magical place with a Star Trek-style replicator that just materializes the product they want out of thin air. People never understand the concept of supply and demand. Your store may be out of X, but stupidity is never in short supply. And our last story. The entitled neighbors who tried to redesign our property. My parents decided they wanted a little holiday house project, something peaceful, a quiet getaway spot. What we didn't realize was that we were moving next to literal chainsaw-wielding Karens in training. On one side, lovely young couple, sweet as pie. On the other, a pair of entitled rental owners who treat their house like a discount Vegas strip. Constant partygoers, loud music, and apparently some very creative ideas about property boundaries. Now, the highlight of our little sanctuary was 3 massive, beautiful trees, easily 200 years old. These trees weren't just for show, they blocked the view straight into my parents' bedroom and bathroom, and guess what? No curtains. So yeah, these trees were basically our first line of defense against the public seeing Dad strut around like he's auditioning for a Tarzan reboot. One day, we had to return to our main house because Mom needed to work. That's when we got the phone call from the nice neighbors. Hey, you need to come back right now. The entitled neighbors are on your property with chainsaws. I don't know what they're planning, but it's not looking good. My mom, halfway panicked. Wait, what? Can you stop them? Sorry, my ferry's about to leave, but I'll call the police. I know them well. They'll come fast. True to their word, the police came, but of course, Chainsaw Charlie and his buddies had already bolted. I'd just gotten out of school, and since Dad had to pick me up, we both headed straight there. And what we saw? Devastation. The trees were gone, reduced to 3 butchered stumps like some horror movie scene for timber lovers. Oh, and bonus feature, broken glass everywhere from the shattered deck wall. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, we heard chainsaws again. We peeked over, no fence again, and there they were. 3 middle-aged men hacking away at what I'm pretty sure was our stolen firewood, looking proud of their hard day's trespassing. Dad marched over, barely containing his fury. Dad, why the hell did you cut down our trees? Chainsaw leader, hey, no big deal, man. We're just being neighborly. Those trees could have fallen and wrecked your house. We saved you the trouble. New neighbors helping each other out, right? Yeah, sure, and I'm the Queen of England. Dad was seething, and when he mentioned calling the police, Captain Entitled actually scoffed. Dude, we did you a favor, improved your view, and made your property safer. You should be thanking us, not calling the cops. Pro tip, never call my dad dude. That's like swearing in our house. He turned on his heel and walked inside before his temper boiled over. Meanwhile, I was just standing there awkwardly wondering if this was how crime documentaries start. That's when the oldest guy, probably pushing 45 and rocking the creepiest dad shades known to man, looks me straight in the eye and says, hey, sweetie, how about you go convince your dad to let this go and we'll get you some ice cream, Yeah, no, if stranger danger had a face, it was this guy. I just turned around and walked inside like I'd seen enough Lifetime movies to know where that road leads. Fast forward a week. Turns out these geniuses didn't cut down our trees out of the goodness of their hearts. Nope, they realized the trees blocked their view of the ocean, which made their vacation rental less attractive. Now with our trees gone, their guests could sip margaritas and enjoy the sea view at our expense. But the police hit them with some hefty fines for trespassing and property damage. Not only that, but they're now stuck doing community service and have to pay us enough money to build a lovely, tall fence to block them out permanently. We're planting new trees, but of course they'll take another 100 years to reach their former glory. At least the fence is going up, and we're plotting out the boundary perfectly to ensure maximum do not even look in our direction vibes. As for the entitled neighbors, rumor has it they're trying to rent out their place even more now. Hopefully they rent it out so often we never have to see their smug faces again. But just in case, we've got cameras, a fence plan, and a firm no ice cream bribes accepted policy in place. Watching someone waltz onto private land, chainsaw in hand, and assume they're doing you a favor is like watching a burglar congratulate himself for your improved feng shui after stealing the furniture. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.